Hi, gorgeous soul. I'm Chloe, the Cosmic Mage, and I am wishing you a beautiful, blissful Sunday here from glorious, sunny Oxfordshire in the UK. And I feel excited to share with you today about a little bit about my journey into the creative process behind Embody Your Magick, the 8-week transformational training course that I have coming up into September. And I really wanted to share with you why I created it, because I am so passionate about helping others in a way that I felt that I really was seeking throughout a lot of my life, especially throughout my spiritual journey, throughout my awakening process to waking up and being like, what on earth is going on? So it's been this process of bringing together some of the incredible teachings that I've been blessed to experience and have gathered along my own journey, but also bringing in some of the very grounded, practical, everyday tools, self-reflection and shadow work that has been missing from a lot of the spiritual teachings that I've studied throughout the many years of my being on my journey, and bringing that into an 8-week journey to really hand over to you this pathway, or a blueprint if you like, for you to really work your way through your mind, body, emotions, shadows, doing this deep self-reflection so that you actually start peeling back the layers and become super clear, comfortable and confident with the true expression of your soul. In the world that we're in right now, we are faced head on with distractions and distortions, conditioning, so many obstacles getting thrown at us left, right and centre, usually from our upbringing too, taking us away, helping us to put these masks on, taking us away from our true authentic expression. And it took me a long time to get to this place. Quite a harrowing journey of ups and downs, and I truly believe it doesn't have to be that way if we have the support and the guidance necessary to really help us on this clear path within, so that we can find that warrior within, find that wisdom within, that wise teacher within, that doesn't try to make us escape or ascend from our humanness, but actually ignites this sense of power and belonging within us, so that we're no longer afraid, so that we no longer hold on to guilt and shame, and all of that darkness within us no longer holds power over us. And I truly believe that is what the control systems and the dark forces on this planet are feeding off. The parts of ourselves that we haven't yet faced and embraced and alchemized. You can see I'm quite passionate about this. So, Embody Your Magick isn't just a training course to teach you how to be more spiritual or how to channel. Not at all, not along those lines. It is a course to guide you deeply and safely and mindfully into yourself, into the very depths of your being, following this very specific pathway that I have both tested out on myself multiple times and continue to do so to this day. Also, that has been working with my guides, my ancestors, since moving back to the UK in 2020, like really connecting into the deep and ancient roots of my ancestry, which is witchcraft, a lot of Celtic ancient wisdom, also Northern European shamanism, Norse influence, really allowing myself to deeply ruminate into that and allow that to seep into this course. So I'm not going to be telling you how you should think or how you should feel. It's going to be an invitation of how deeply can you explore yourself and really come back into the truth of who you are, and not have to show up in a way that you think is going to impress others, no longer having to dim your light to fit in, and really feeling comfortable in your sense of spirituality, whatever that means to you, and however you choose to explore that and to express that. That is what embodying your magic truly means, embodying the truth of who you are. And to share a little bit of my story behind this to get me to where I am now, and why it feels like the right time for me to be sharing this. So back in my early 20s, around 12, 13 years ago, I would say that, I was going through a rough time. I felt very confused most of my life. School always felt very confusing to me. It felt like this doesn't feel right. Like, why am I being put into this system and forced into academia when I'm clearly a creative soul? It was just very uncomfortable for me being in school, and feeling like just very misunderstood, and not feeling like I had a teacher or a guide or someone who embraced my rebellious spirit and the alternative nature that I really had. I felt very misunderstood, and that just slowly just kept breaking me down, and I would just dim and dim and dim and dim into this very small and confused and watered down version of myself, where all of my talents that I loved, like painting and writing songs and stories, poetry and singing and dancing and really expressing myself, all of that had just been like put into this box of like, no, you can't do that, because that's just not going to get you anywhere in life. So my spirit really was like caged for a very, very long time. And as a young person, we are impressionable. And so as an escapism from this, I turned to drugs and alcohol. And I think that when taking drugs especially, we can often open ourselves in a way that, in a way it's a false sense of connecting, to source or to God, but it opens us up. It does open us up. And I am an advocate for plant medicines, but I've also had very, very challenging and dangerous experiences with plant medicines and psychedelics. So it's kind of it's a risky topic to talk about, and because it's not something that I facilitate, I don't hold spaces for that. It's not something that I'm going to go into in too much depth. But I went to drugs and alcohol because I felt so shy and so insecure and so lost in myself. It kind of gave me this like false sense of freedom and liberation, just to be like wild and free. And don't get me wrong, I feel like there are so many like amazing memories from those crazy times in my life. I don't even see that as a dark time, even though there are some seriously dark situations that happened to me during those years. But it was this part of me that was wanting to just be unleashed, and to sort of remind me that there was more to life than just this very dense prison-like 3D reality that those dark shadows of us want us to believe is reality. So yeah, that was my outlet for a very long time. And there's such incredible highs when you're partying and taking drugs, and you can have these amazing experiences, but then the lows can take you to like the real depths of darkness and depression. So I knew I was on a destructive path. And then I started experimenting with psychedelics like acid and mushrooms, and DMT like substances. And I had what I can only describe as an ego death, where I took a very, 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 very strong dose of this psychedelic, and I had an experience of just completely losing all sense of being in my physical essence, and I was a particle floating in the multiverse, and even my breathing slowed down to such a slow speed that it was like it felt like eternity would just unfold forever and ever in that time. And it was a beautiful experience, but then my humanness and the part of me that was absolutely not ready to have such an incredible, mind-blowing out-of-body experience totally freaked out. And then I started having this ego death because my ego tried to step in and was panicking. So I literally, after that amazing experience of literally just being one with the universe, I suddenly started seeing all of these lifetimes of me dying, like brutal deaths of like accidents and just all of this stuff. And I just went into full-blown panic mode, and eventually it wore off. But I was really shaken after that, and I had this real existential crisis. I started having like panic attacks, and I was just like, am I dead? Am I alive? What's going on? Nothing makes sense anymore. So in a way, in a very, very brutal and extreme way, it kick-started my journey of questioning everything, because I did really start to explore and question things like, why are we born into this system that tells us that we have to do this, and like, why, what is this evolution theory that we're sold? And it just really started me down this path of questioning absolutely everything, and it just really kind of skyrocketed, I would say, my spiritual ascension. But it brought me right up into my crown chakra, which is where we can get very confused with our ego, and we can get this spiritual ego, and it's where we get really, really hungry for external knowledge to kind of feed our own sense of belonging. So I found myself there for a long time, and wanting to be this kind of spiritual know-it-all and someone who saw the world differently, which I did, of course, but you can also do that and embody it. And I wasn't embodying it. I was still very much a mess, to be honest, from a life of not having a father and being brought up by a single mother and moving around a lot. And yeah, like I said, not having a figure in my life who really understood me. So yeah, I was kind of just lost in this spiritual soup, if you like, really seeking a quest of knowledge, which is a beautiful place to be. But when we're constantly seeking external knowledge, in a way we're seeking external validation. So I was still avoiding looking inside myself. And I went to many spiritual teachings like Buddhism, yoga, many different teachings. Like, I've read so many incredible books, but I found that a lot of them still were all about enlightenment, like all about trying to be like almost not human and making ourselves godlike in human form. And it brought me to this space again of putting me on this pedestal and then judging others, and being, being vegan for a long time and really believing that was the way, to enlightenment. And there's nothing wrong with the individual path that we choose, but it's got to come from within us. It's got to come from within us. And I think for a lot of people in the West, we have lost our connection to our ancient wisdom, to our ancestors. Unlike the indigenous who really have hold on to their amazing spiritual teachings in their community, we in the Western world, a lot of us, have really lost that connection. So we are disconnected and we don't have that handed down. And yeah, I felt lost, and there were just multiple times where I had these real, what you could call or sort of resonate with as dark nights of the soul, where it felt like my whole world was falling apart, everything around me was falling apart, and just like totally wallowing in the depths and the darkness of that. But again, not really having a clear pathway out of that. So it took me a long time. Like I said, I've been on a journey to get to where I am now for 12, 13 years. And I love that journey. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I think something that I have always been seeking and always wished that I had was like a blueprint of how to better understand myself, and like how to really get to grips with being comfortable within myself and shutting out the outside noise. And something that is simple and clear and just involves tasks of self-reflection and simple tasks. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with incredibly deep spiritual devotion. That's beautiful. But for a lot of us in the modern world, I feel like we're craving something more relatable and something that's not so also not so out there and so woo-woo. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, those that know me, like, I'm all about the woo-woo, and like I'm all about magic and the magic of life. But I'm also really passionate about getting to the root of things, and shadows are so juicy. So many people who I speak to who are really yearning to be on this spiritual path of meaning and of love, but they have this deep-rooted fear of shadow work. And when we have a deep-rooted fear, what are we doing? We're feeding fear. We're feeding the fear that we are seeing around us that is really keeping the world in its grips at the moment. That is fear. So, and what I've also come to find within myself is that these shadows, like, and when I say shadows, I mean facing moments in our childhood that have made us feel a certain way. Experiences where we were mistreated and abused. Memories that are painful. Moments that have caused us to put up these walls to stop us from expressing ourselves freely. Like, what I found from facing those is actually not a scary thing. It is really, really liberating, albeit a very emotional experience. I have a very personal story that I still haven't felt aligned to share publicly. Not completely anyway. But yeah, there was a very significant experience when I was 18 of sexual abuse. which was involved with drugs as well. And yeah, when I went to Peru on a women's retreat, I was literally went through a journey where I replayed every moment of that experience in real time. You know, I was crying my eyes out for like 12 hours afterwards. But after that, I felt like all of this sexual shame and trauma that I'd been holding on to for all of those years was just gone. It was liberated from my body because I had allowed myself to accept it. And that's what shadow work is. It's a very small, actually, amount of time to go back and acknowledge these painful and darker parts of ourselves for a lifetime of liberation. And I really want you to know that, because it's definitely been the most powerful of all of my healing journey, apart from my long relationship with my yoga practice, because that's been, I feel like having an embodiment practice is really important, whether that's like yoga, qigong, martial arts. I feel that's really supportive. Other than that, for me, shadow work, hands down. You might call it trauma healing, therapy. I feel like if you have a really amazing trauma therapist, they're going to help you with your shadow work. But shadow work is the ultimate self-reflection to get the outcome of self-liberation. It's amazing. It is so freeing. So yeah, it was only when I started doing that, and I remember my first experience of this, of really facing and owning up to my shadows and honouring it and liberating it, how amazing it felt. So it was, I believe it was 2018, so about 8-9 years ago. I was really struggling with drinking. I noticed that it was a very toxic cycle of drinking and then just getting myself into these situations that I regretted, and just in this constant state of anxiety and like self-hatred and self-loathing. And I was sitting one day on the little balcony of the home that I was renting at the time, and I was guided. I wasn't connected to my guides consciously at that time, but I do believe it was one of my guides or one of my guardian angels that said, Chloe, just get out your journal and start writing, and start writing about all of the shame that you're holding. So I got out my journal and I ended up writing 12 pages worth of situations in my life that made me feel shame or regret. And I found a link between them all. And that link was that all of these things happened when I was heavily under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So that clicked something in me that said, I have been using drugs and alcohol as a tool to suppress whatever this emotion is that is really trying to come to the surface for me to acknowledge. You know, these shadows were like desperate to come out of me. Shadows of abandonment, shadows of feeling misunderstood, shadows of feeling shy and shut down. They were so desperate to come to the surface, but I just didn't feel ready to face them. So I would, dull that down with drugs and alcohol. But when I got this all out on paper, it was just like so eye-opening. So, I said, okay, well, I'm going to stop this. Like, I'm going to go clean and sober for as long as it takes for me to actually face some of this pain inside. So that was, 2018. And that was a long journey. I did about 2 years completely clean and sober of all plant medicines, drugs, alcohol, everything. And that's when I faced my father wound many times on my own. Like, I'm not going to bore you with the story, but I've never had a dad, never met him. He's never wanted to be a part of my life. So you can only imagine the role that that's played in many of my relationships in my life, but especially the relationship with myself. So that was when it all started opening up to me, but I was very much like fumbling in the dark and just reflecting on my own and going through these multiple stages of just being like, who the fuck am I? What am I doing? And just this constant cycle, and then like picking up the pieces and remembering my teachings and putting them back into practice. And then the last 2 years, it's been like I've been going all in on my self-awareness, self-development, spiritual development, business development, loving myself, loving my body, loving my life, loving being of service, putting all of the pieces together and actually just feeling really content and comfortable within myself. So that's where I'm at now. And that's what I have wanted to create with Embody Your Magick. So it's not a course to teach you, like I said, how to channel or how to be spiritual. If that's something that you're seeking from the course, then it's absolutely a tool that's going to help you to get there. It is, like I said, a blueprint or a pathway to help you to take all of the steps that I've had to take in my life, unguided, but I've done it in a structured way so that you're going to build up this really solid, strong, rooted, grounded foundation within yourself in order to be able to face the wildness of life. And if you do have, big spiritual activations or awakenings, you'll have this grounded sense of embodiment to actually be able to hold yourself through that and build a connection to your guides and your team around you, and just have this inner trust within yourself. Because that's how it feels. It's like, finally, I can just take an exhale. I don't have anything to prove anymore. I've got a long way to go on my journey. I truly believe that. I feel there's some parts of my journey that I feel like are just beginning. And for me, that's so exciting. But wherever you're at, like however old you are, no matter what you've been through, it's not a competition. It's not a comparison. You are already enough. You are enough. And Embody Your Magick is coming back home into that sense, that inner sense of yourself, and getting comfortable with these moments of silence and introspection and shutting out the outside noise, finding your own wisdom and your own teacher within, and really starting to honour that. And know that those dark depths of you are this hidden well of so much wisdom and inner power that are just waiting for you to bravely explore in those shadows. Shadow work is a huge part of this course. I'll explain to you a little bit about the structure of the course and how it runs. So it's starting at the end of September. And when I mean starting, what I mean is that every single week we're going to meet as a group. It's a small group, only 8 of us. The reason why I chose this is because I want us to actually build a connection with one another and build a community and a support system for each of us. So, well, it's going to be 9 of us in total, including me. So 9 of us are going to meet every week for 90 minutes, possibly more, but around 90 minutes for a live Zoom call. And these Zoom calls are going to follow the structure of the course, which is a spiral that spirals into the heart. So we start with the mind, then we go into the body, and then we go up to the crown just to touch a little bit on our connection to source. But then we're going to come plunging back down into our shadow work so we don't get too stuck in the ethers. And then we're going to come into our emotions. Yeah, so once we've done that shadow work, got to those shadows, we're going to be able to go even deeper into our emotions, our creativity. Then we're going to come up to the throat, our witch wound, our expression, our truth. And then we're going to come into our power center, our sunshine core, our beautiful navel, that place of manifestation, of flame, of alchemy. And then we're going to land in our heart, when all of us has been balanced and harmonized, so we can really land in the heart from a grounded place, not a place of overgiving or overtaking, but a place of gratitude, unconditional love, presence, courage, kindness. So each of the weeks are gonna follow this spiral structure, and for the live calls, they're gonna be run as more of a ceremony, but it's gonna be the opportunity for everyone in the group to share their voice, share their journey, have questions, and we're gonna be experiencing practices together as a group. It's gonna be a very co-creative space where we honor each other. And then alongside the 8 90-minute live calls, there's also going to be a reunion a month after, so you'll get a free reunion call at the end. And alongside that, you get a full self-study training course. So you get to take as long as you choose to that. I would recommend about I would say maybe 6 months would be good, because you can really take the time to get into the practices. So in the training course, there are videos, there's workshops, there's practical exercises, embodiment, very deep guided quantum energy meditations, a lot of introspective quizzes and journal prompts, and you'll be required to do some real deep reflection and introspective writing. Little kind of mini courses, so there's a lot. And then also once you've completed that, you'll get a certificate of completion. And something I haven't shared yet, but I've decided to add as an extra for the course, is that everyone who joins this course will also get a free follow-up 60-minute coaching call with me after the course is finished, just as a check-in to see how you're doing, what could be supportive for you moving forward, and just to reflect on your goals for the course and what is next for you. So yeah, you'll actually get a free 1-to-1 60-minute coaching session with me after as well. And it feels really good to offer that as a gift to support your journey and your integration, because I want nothing more than to see you thriving and embodying your magic and bringing your magic into the world and helping others do the same. Like, my mission is to help liberate as many souls as possible from the shackles of fear, so that we are no longer imprisoned by a system of darkness and slaves and oppression and suffering. So if I can help you to embody that, imagine how many people we can help and support together. So exciting. Also with the course, there's going to be a membership group, and you'll, if you can't make the live calls on Zoom, it's absolutely fine. You'll get a copy of the recording that will all be shared in the membership group, where you're all free to chat, and you can ask questions there. You'll be very much supported throughout the journey. So it's really going to be like a group of us, this beautiful 8 of you and 1 of me, in this together, all as equals. Like, I am going to be going on this journey with you just as much as you are. And that's what I love about the spiral journey, because we spiral in and then we spiral out again. So remember, I said we start from the heart, from the mind, and end in the heart. When you get to the heart, you're going to expand out again, and you're going to come back into your mind and start seeing the world through a brand new perspective. And then you can start this journey again and be like, whoa, everything's so different this time round. So I'm going to be doing it with you and experiencing it with this newfound sense of wonder and joy. So we're going to be very much on this journey, on this pilgrimage of self-discovery and self-empowerment together. And it's going to be really, 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 really magical. I've had so much fun designing the course. For me, this has been probably one of the most challenging processes that I've faced in the 6 years that I have been working for myself. It's only been the last year that I've been fully all in, like all guns blazing into my business. So Embody Your Magick has been a part of that. And as a woman who, I would say, I'm a very creative soul. I'm very, very organized and very hardworking, but I'm also very neurodivergent, if you like. I don't really like that label because I see it as such a superpower, but you know, my mind is in a million places at one time. So channeling all of my energy into this course has been such a great challenge, but at the same time, such a rewarding and exciting experience. So it has really helped me to recognize like what I'm capable of. And I have designed, created, and brought this course to life entirely by myself. I am a single woman. I have no partner. I have no father. So Mystic Hearts has been my baby that I have created entirely by myself. I don't have anyone working for me or helping me other than my dear, dear friend, John Binney, who is also my mentor. I have to give him a shout out and just a moment of extreme gratitude, because originally he said to me, hey, why don't you just have my course and I want you to run it? And, you know, I thought, oh, that's amazing that he would trust me to do that. But, and I haven't done that. I just decided to create something that is very, very different actually from John's higher self foundational training that he runs. This is completely different in my eyes. But just having his trust and faith in me really gave me that kickstart to say, you know what, it is time that I push myself out of my comfort zone and create something that I wish that I had had access to throughout many stages on my spiritual awakening journey. And I've done my very best my very best, I hope, and I pray, to bring it together in a way that is not only clear, but also very, very much in depth and covers all the bases of not only spirituality, but humanness and groundedness, and really giving us permission to actually explore the full frequency of our souls being human, which is the lowest of lows, the highest of highs, and everywhere in between, and actually celebrating that and not hiding from that, finding our power from that. So yeah, it's super exciting. And I can't wait. There's only 4 spaces left, by the way. 4 beautiful souls have signed up for the course already, and it's just been amazing finishing the touches of the course, because it's like, I'm doing this for you. Those of you who've signed up, it's been yeah, such a joyful experience. So yeah, there's 4 spaces left, and there are payment options if you want to just pay. There's like a buy now, pay later, which is a deposit payment. I also have Klarna and ClearPay as payment options, so you can pay in like 4 or 3. Hopefully that helps. But also, like, if you have any reservations about the course, I've had a couple of questions saying, like, I'm not sure if the course is for me because I'm not very far on my spiritual journey, or so on and so forth. Please know that this course is open and welcomed to everyone, to anyone. If you resonate with the word embody your magic, if you are seeking to express yourself authentically, if you feel lost but are seeking some spiritual meaning, this course is for you. There's no limitations. Everyone is welcome. Men, women, all genders, all identifications. All are welcome with an open heart and an open mind. So, but if you do have any questions or any reservations, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you don't want to share questions in the comments, I totally respect and understand that. You can email me at mysticheartsemporium@gmail.com. You can find that access to my email address on my channel as well. But yeah, it would be so incredible to have you on this journey. And what I really like about the structure of this course is that it's suitable to multiple different intentions. So someone may choose to join the course because they really want to build a connection with their spirit guides. Great, awesome. All of these tools are going to help you to do that. Some of you may just want to learn how to really feel like you're more high vibrational and not to feel so bogged down energetically by the collective or by other people. Great. Some of you may want to have an intention to be more creative. Embody your magic. There's so many intentions that can be honored and met throughout the journey of this course. I'm here ready to welcome you with so much love. And it's felt really nice to share about this today. And I hope that in sharing my story, it's helped you to just understand a little bit of where I'm coming from too, and just know that you can share your story and it's safe to do that, but also you don't have to as well. Your journey and your experience are so sacred to you. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to share about Embody Your Magick. Something I'll share. If anyone is interested but would like a bit more of a feel or a sense for it, I have got a whole playlist that I created called Embody Your Magick Meditations, and it's a whole month worth of meditations. It's a 28-day meditation journey. I'll share the link to that in the description of this video, because that could be a great way of, getting yourself ready for the journey, or getting a free taster of me and the medicine that I bring. And also it follows the same structure as the Embody Your Magick training course does. So I can offer that to you to get a taster for it. Other than that, I'm so grateful and just so humbled and blessed for the 4 beautiful souls who have stepped onto this journey with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much love, and once again, Sunday blessings from my heart to yours. Don't forget that you are enough. Keep shining, keep being you. The world needs your magic.